Hi BookTube, Sarah here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a tag video because today, the day that this video is going up, is my birthday. Yay! As I jokingly said to my husband, it is a big birthday for me. It's the 20th anniversary of my 21st birthday. Isn't that exciting? Yes, I'm the big 4-1 today. But yeah, I was trying to think of a fun video to do today, and I looked around at maybe some birthday book tags. There are a couple of them on BookTube, but none of them really jumped out at me as a tag I really wanted to do. And then I remembered that I've seen a couple of people do this tag, and this one seems like so much fun and right up my alley. And I thought, yes, this is definitely a tag I need to do. So I'm saying that I was unofficially tagged by Steve Donahue because in his video, he tagged everybody. So I guess I should tell you what tag it is if you didn't read the description or the title of this video. And this is the second Tome Around book tag. So it's all about used books. And again, right up my alley. So the original tag was done by The Hungry Bookworm, and I will leave a link to that video in the description box below, along with Steve's video, because his was really delightful too, because he is definitely also a used book shopper, which is fantastic. I love seeing that. So, sorry, I'm hitting things like my computer. There are 8 questions, and yeah, let's jump in and get started. So question number 1 is, do you buy secondhand books? The answer is yes. My question, though, is, if you answer no, is the tag done? No, thanks for watching. But yes, no, I buy a lot of secondhand books. I love secondhand books, mainly because I'm cheap. And I'll be honest with you, I do not like paying full price for a book if I don't have to. Not that I don't think it's worth it or it's not worth it to the author. And if it's an author I really love, like a lot of times I will buy, the majority of what I purchase is on ebook. And I only really buy 2 different types of books in a physical format. And I will touch on that as I get through this tag. But I generally, and I have to say generally, because the other day I just bought a physical book that is not one of these 2 types of books that I typically buy physically. And the only reason I actually bought a physical copy is because it was cheaper than the Kindle edition. The mass market paperback was cheaper than the Kindle edition. That's the entire different conversation for a different video. We won't get into that. But anyway, there are only 2 types of books that I actually buy used physically to, normally. So, what was your latest purchase? So I was originally going to show these in a vlog, but when I decided to do this tag, I thought this is the perfect time for me to show these. So the 2 types of books that I purchase in used book format, as you can see behind me, my wall of Harlequins, my shelf of Harlequins, soon to become 2 bookshelves. Slowly this bookshelf behind me is going to get cleaned out of most of what's on there. I just have stuff on there right now as place savers, but as this collection behind me starts to grow, it's going to migrate over here. And a lot of these books, unless it's some of the special ones that I have, like I have right over my shoulder, I have an edition of Gone with the Wind in hardcover that my friend Mandy gave me. Other special books like that I have. On a lower shelf, I have the Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, old editions that my friend Lynn gave me. Stuff like that are obviously going to stay, but the majority of it is going to be the Harlequins. And these I love picking up used because I love scouring used bookstores for them. The other type of book that's also probably going to go on this shelf once I have a bit more room are my Back to My Childhood books. Now, not all of them. The Babysitter's Club is available in full on the Kindle. Everything. The super editions, the mysteries, everything are available on the Kindle. I do have the first 4 books in the series along with a couple of special editions up on my shelf, and those are more like for my own personal collection. The entirety of the Nancy Drew mystery stories, as well as the Nancy Drew case files that came out in the 80s, are both also available on ebook. So that's fantastic. The entirety of the Sweet Valley High series is available on ebook, except the special editions, the mysteries, like the ones that weren't part of the regular line. For some reason, when they decided to publish them all digitally, they didn't publish those ones digitally. So those are the ones that I have been hunting out and have been picking up here and there. Also, with the Nancy Drew case files, They had some special editions, which were Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys mysteries. Those also, for some reason, the publisher decided not to convert them digitally either when they were doing the entire rest of the series, which makes me upset because why would you do that? So, because I want to read all those series eventually over the next probably 20 years, that's how long it's going to take me to get through them all. Those are all what I consider the Back to My Childhood books. I want to fill in the gaps because I'm reading all of these series chronologically. Where the special editions or the mysteries or what have you fall, I'm reading that one next in the series. So I made a purchase the other day on the Amazon Marketplace because these are extremely hard to find in used bookstores. They're just not there. You can find the Babysitter's Club all day long, but the Sweet Valley and the Nancy Drew ones, you can't. Now, this is all a Sweet Valley haul, so I just thought I'd show them to you. So first of all, we have some of these special editions. I don't know what order these go in. Super editions, is what they were called. So we have Special Christmas. These all came out in the 80s. So yeah, so this is a Christmas edition, obviously. Then we have Perfect Summer. It's so 80s, isn't it? This cover is just so. Spring Fever. Like, really? It's delightful. They're delightful. And then this again boggles my mind. So this book is the kickoff to a mini series that ran up to book number 100. So this was a special edition, a Magna edition, I believe they called them, was not part of the regular line, was never published digitally, but yet you need to read this book in order to understand the events that follow in the next so many books leading up to book number 100. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And that book, I remember this one so distinctly reading it, was A Night to Remember. And this is the prom, so it's got a step back and everything. Like, these were, I remember getting this one and feeling so grown up, reading it, because they're a lot thicker than the original books, you can tell. And so, like I said, this one is the lead up to events that happen where the entire series kind of veers off in left field and truly becomes even more like a soap opera. I mean, you had story arcs following through the rest of the series, and it was crazy. When was this published? 1993. So I was about, 12 or 13 when this came out originally? So yeah. This is my childhood. This is my throwback to my childhood. So yeah, I'm super excited to have picked this one up. So the other two books that I have are much, much thinner. These are actually part of the Sweet Valley Twins series, which is a series I didn't read as much as Sweet Valley High, but I think because they came out later and I was already older, but occasionally I would pick them up if something looked like fun. And when I buy from the Amazon Marketplace, I like to look for books from the same seller because it's generally a bit cheaper on shipping. So I happened upon and I saw these two and I'm like, yes, I just want to pick them up essentially just to reread them because the Sweet Valley Twins series has also never been converted to digital edition. And these are both special editions as well, so they probably wouldn't be, is my guess, based on what they did with Sweet Valley High. So the first one is, the series was actually renamed to Sweet Valley Twins and Friends. And this is when Elizabeth and Jessica Wakefield are in the 6th grade. So the first one is The Unicorns Go Hawaiian, and I totally remember reading this one. It was just an utter delight. I think it was around the same time the Babysitters Club went to Hawaii because there was a Babysitters Club super special where they go to Hawaii, and I'm like, I wonder if it was the same time. Did they see each other there? How's this work? But Jessica essentially wins a trip, and she takes her 5 best friends and not her sister. It's weird, but whatever. So yeah, this one was really, really fun. I only had ever read it the one time, but when I saw the guy had it, and I think it was like 2 cents, no joke, 2 pennies, plus shipping to Canada, which is wicked expensive, I thought, why the heck not? And then this other one, I remember reading it and being delighted by it, but I am disappointed in the edition that I got. So the last one that I want to show you is another Sweet Valley Twins, and this one is called Big for Christmas. And essentially in the story, a lot of the Christmas special editions that they had, there was about 3 or 4 of them. Each one kind of had, there's one that actually is a complete ripoff or takeoff or retelling of A Christmas Carol. This one was really fun, and it's where the twins wish that they were older, and then they wake up the next morning and they are adults. But the original edition of this that I had way back when, and I kind of wish I kept it, there was also a step back cover. This is not a step back cover. They've gotten, and I was so disappointed when I opened up the package. So it's not like where the A Night to Remember goes. So it's not like this. It's not a step back. It should have been. This should have actually been a cutout here. And then when you opened it up, it was the twins older wearing these same, and it was kind of delightful. It was kind of fun. But they didn't do that. Or I guess this was a reprint, and that's not the edition that I got. So I need to try and hunt out that edition of it, because that's the one that I want. I know it seems like something silly, but those of us who are book collectors will totally understand that. So yeah, so there's my little book haul. Probably bored most of you to tears. Sorry about that. What condition do you find acceptable? I don't care. I'll be completely honest and say I don't care, unless it's a certain edition that I wanted. Like, you know what I mean? I am more than happy to take books that are, like, look at this one. Clearly it's been read, you know, like that's ripped along there. You know, it's been loved. I'm not looking for something in mint condition. I just want the book. Unless, again, it's an edition. Like if I had received this one and it wasn't the step back cover, I would have been just as disappointed, because that's iconic to me, is that cover. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't care. A lot of times when I'm looking for the Harlequins, sometimes I'll look to see if I can, because I'm not looking for anything specific when I'm physically at the used bookstore or at the thrift store. I will look for ones that are in a bit better condition. Most of the time, though, if I come across a gem, I don't care. After you've read said book, do you keep it or reread it or redonate it? So, again, the only ones I typically buy are collectors for me. These ones I am keeping. Even once I've read them, I am keeping them. These are a collection. These are not just to read, they're a collection. So they are staying with me. Along with these ones, part of my collection. They are staying with me. Generally, though, like I was mentioning earlier about the physical book that I bought because it was cheaper than the Kindle edition, when I am done with that, yes, I will donate it somewhere to the thrift store, something like that, so somebody else can go ahead and read and enjoy it. Do you have a favorite place you like to go to when looking for secondhand books? I have a couple. There are four or five Value Village stores, which I think is called Savers in America, and even in the US and Australia. Because I think I've heard Karen mention Savers, and I like going there for books. It's generally a clothing, you know, used household items and clothing, but they do have a book section, and the Harlequins are 99 cents a piece or 5 for $4. So, or buy 4 get 1 free essentially. So yeah, so I like hunting those out there. There is a great used bookstore about a 45-minute drive from me. And I like to go up about once every couple months. I am actually due. I might go up on Saturday because being my birthday weekend, sort of, kind of, and go up and treat myself, because they have these bins of the Harlequins that have like X's. Do I have any of them that might have it on the top? I don't want to spend all my time hunting. Just let me see. No, none of them do. But probably do around here somewhere. Anyway, sorry, totally off topic. They have X's on the top, like right here would be an X. Written in just black magic marker, and those ones are in one bin, and those are $1.50 each, or 4 for $5, which is a little bit more expensive than Value Village, but it's the other bin that intrigues me, because the other bin has 2 X's in magic marker on the books, and those books are 4 for $1.50. Yes, please. And again, I am not looking for specifics. I am looking to fill in a collection that I will never finish. Never, ever, ever finish collecting these. Because there's something like 20 different imprints, and some of the imprints have 2,000 books in them. Never going to happen. I just love having them and having them on display. And one day, God forbid when something happens to me, and, you know, Garrett and I need to move into the old age home, someone's going to need to figure out what to do with these, because it won't be me. it'll my niece. I'll be like, Katie, see if there's anything worth any money. Probably not, but whatever. So yeah, so I like shopping at those stores. The other place, as I already mentioned, for like the Sweet Valley and the Back to My Childhood books, the Nancy Drew, I love the Amazon Marketplace. I really, really do. If it wasn't for the cost of shipping to Canada, which angers me to no end. These books, the full cost of all of these books, the shipping was the same price as what I paid for all the books. So let's say I paid $10 for these, shipping cost me $10. I often go on eBay and I look at lots of like Harlequins. Like it'll be like, oh, 30 bucks, you know, a 30 book lot. And it might only be $10. And that's fantastic. And I would totally gobble that up. But the problem is that shipping to Canada is $30 because it is ridiculous to ship to Canada. So I really want to buy one of those lots on eBay one of these days. And what I might do is, because I'm going back down to the States in October and I'm meeting up with my friend Mandy, is that I might sweet talk her and see if I can buy one of those and have it shipped to her house in Vermont, and then I will pick it up and bring it back. But yeah, I know shipping is really expensive. So that's why I said at the beginning that if I buy from the Amazon Marketplace, I will try and buy from the same seller every time, because it often decreases the cost of shipping. Because typically shipping of a single book is about $4, which is ridiculous. The book is selling on the Amazon Marketplace for a penny, and I'm paying $3.99 to ship it. So that book is now costing me $4. So I've really got to decide, is it something I really want? Which is why I typically don't buy these on that, because they can get really expensive. Again, unless I'm looking for something specific. So, sorry, I'm really rambling on in this tag. I apologize, you guys. All right, next one. Hardback or paperback? Do you have a preference? Paperback, mass market paperback, all day long. I still look at all the books typically when I go to like the Value Village, in case something catches my eye that might be something more of a collector's, a book I've already read that I really wanted a copy of or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, it's just these. Okay, question number 7. Have you found any real gems? And I'm doing this for one of my viewers because one of you asked me in the comments, another one of my videos, for me to maybe show some of my vintage Harlequins. And I have found some gems. When I was in Value Village, I found these and I was beyond thrilled. So I ended up picking them up. This was maybe a year ago, and they've been sitting on my shelf. I need to get to them to read them. Hopefully I'll get to some of them this year. But they are some vintage Harlequins, and this just makes me so happy. So I thought I'd show 4 of them to you guys. And the oldest one in my collection is this one, and it's called Sister of the Housemaster, and it's by Eleanor Farnes. It's book number 975. For context, this is part of the Harlequin romance line. Do I have one available? Right here. For context, this is what they now look like. Okay, this one was published in October of 2019. The number on this one is 4683. Again, 975. So, hello, Evolving Books. This one was published, I believe this was in the 60s. Bear with. 1965. Did I read that right? I don't have my glasses on. The print's really small. 1965. Originally published by Mills and Boon Limited in London. So a lot of these, and then were brought over to North America. And yeah, I mean, this is just, I mean, these hurt. This wouldn't have even been something my mother read. My mom was born in 52. So in 65, she would have been, what, 13? She may have picked this up, but I can see this more have been something that my grandmothers would have read. And I am very thrilled with this. A lot of these kind of had the same type of plot. Typically, the woman was a nurse. It happened in a hospital. You know, sometimes you got quite an age difference between your characters. Most of them at the time, and I'd say a good vast majority of them, took place in the UK. They didn't really take place in North America. But yeah, this is the gem of my collection. This is the oldest one I have. I think I paid 99 cents for it. The next one I want to show you guys, I'm going kind of in like order of when they were published, is Wedding at Blue River. This is by Dorothy Quinton. This is number 1724. So quite a bit further on in the series, or in the imprint from the first one that I just showed you guys. And this one was published in, bear with, I don't want to wreck them, 1973, 6 years before I was born. Did it have something on the front here I wanted to share with you guys? So the little interior part here, just bear with me just for a minute. Interesting, informative, and entertaining, each Harlequin romance portrays an appealing love story. Harlequin romances take you to faraway places with real people facing real love situations, and you become part of their story. As publishers of Harlequin romances, we're extremely proud of our books. We've been publishing them since 1954. Love to get my hands on some of the first. We're also proud that Harlequin romances are North America's most read paperback romances. 8 new titles are released every month, and are sold at nearly all bookseller stores across Canada and the U.S. Free catalog. You could have ordered a free catalog by writing in. But what I love when I read that, so it gives you an address in Niagara Falls, New York, obviously for the American side. For the Canadian side, does not give an address or a P.O. box or anything at all like that. Just Stratford, Ontario, Canada. Like, back in the 60s, Stratford was so small. If you wrote to Harlequin, they knew exactly where to send it. Stratford puts on an amazing Shakespeare festival every year. It is a delightful little town. Honestly, if you ever travel into Southern Ontario area, like more towards London and Windsor, go to Stratford. Totally worth it. Sorry, that was a side little travel tip for those of you who might be interested. The next one I have to show you is Enchanting Samantha. This is by the great Betty Neals. I know one time Steve mentioned something because I mentioned a Betty Neals novel. Steve's like, I think we're the only two that have ever talked about Betty Neals. So yes, she wrote forever. And most of her books have been republished with new covers, but this was obviously an original edition, number 1777. And this one I think was published in 66. I'm sorry, 1974. 1970. I get very Princess Leia vibes from this girl on the cover here. And, you know, most of Betty Neals had to do medical. She was a nurse, he was often a doctor, blah, blah, blah. So, Samantha sympathized with the problems of the elderly Dutch woman who was admitted to the hospital where she worked. But she didn't realize that her encounter with Giuseppo's Boots' employer, the striking Gills, would bring her so much heart searching. Perhaps one shouldn't get involved with one's patients. So yeah, like I said, that was atypical for her to have nurse-doctor kind of relationships. And the last one I want to share with you, I only picked 4 off the shelf. These are my 4 oldest ones, is number 1863, and this is McCabe's Kingdom by Margaret Way. Margaret Way wrote into the 90s, I think, for Harlequin. And all of her books have been set in Australia. I believe she's an Australian author. And yeah, this one I saw this one and I'm like, it's the 70s. Can we look at that cover just for a second? Oh my gosh. I think this one was 75. How good am I? March of 75. So a few years before I was born. But yeah, in the outback. Takes place in the Australian outback. So yeah, and these are not very, very long, but the print on these is super small. I guess that was atypical of the time period. And I just love the red on the outside. Oh yeah, these are some of the gems of my collection. Sorry for shaking the camera, you guys. I think only one more question. Hold on. Optional. Find a book from your shelves that you could donate to a good cause or to a local charity or Goodwill shop. None of these are going anywhere. Not right now anyway. But I do actually have when I cleaned out these bookshelves originally and moved everything over here, I have a couple of boxes of books that I want to donate. And slowly what I've been doing actually is taking them to the bingo hall, because there is a bookshelf at the bingo hall that is like a little free library that I've actually found some stuff there and taken it home, like Harlequins. Often you find them at places like that. But I figure since I should return. So I have 3 that are going to go over there. Now, I don't know how well these are going to go over at the hall. I might actually decide just to take these to the thrift store because they are hardback. And at least the thrift store can sell them because the value villages in our area, the proceeds or what have you, go to diabetes. So that might be a better bang for my buck, essentially, that the money can at least go somewhere instead of somebody just grabbing them off the shelf. So we have Sarah Dessen's Along for the Ride. These are all YA. I read this one. I've read it a couple times. I really enjoyed it, but I don't see myself rereading it again. We have A Tyranny of Petticoats. This was edited by Jessica Spotswood. Again, I read this one. It was enjoyable enough, but I didn't love it. Absolutely can go to another person who might want it more. And this one is going to be an unpopular opinion here on BookTube, but I frankly don't care. A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I bought this at the thrift store and read it and didn't particularly love it. It's not my cup of tea. It can go back to the thrift store and someone else can purchase it. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all that I have for this tag. I'm looking at my time and it's been a long me yammering on for quite a little while. I do apologize. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this and listening to me yammer on about used books and, you know, Harlequin books and Sweet Valley High and stuff that most of you are probably not interested in. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. But anyway, yeah, that's all I have. I'm not going to tag anybody because I don't know who's done this and who hasn't done this. But if you haven't done this and you want to do this, consider yourself tagged as well. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.